All right, we left off adding our Vue implementation to our team form. There's still much to do. We have essentially did the logic behind the form itself. So I need to hook into our Vue now all these methods that we created, like the update scroll, the add user, the remove user, undo, remove, save team, and editing teams and existing teams. All that stuff needs to go into our Vue. So I'm going to add that now. I'm going to start inside the form partial and just kind of work my way down. There might be some periods where I might speed up the video just because it's kind of not necessarily the most exciting stuff. We'll just start slow. So let's do this. The very first thing I want to do is basically create an if-else statement inside here using Vue, and we can do that with a div and do a v-for. So with Vue you can do this stuff inline. Everything kind of starts with a v dash something. There's a lot you can do, but I'm still getting used to it myself, but it's pretty handy so far. So here I'm iterating through all the users, and in team.user attributes. So all the stuff in our all the stuff that comes back in JSON here, I'm iterating through except these things, since we said don't bring those back in Rails. So I need to spell things right first and then close that off. So anything in between here I can iterate through. I'm going to start first with an if, v-if. And in between quotes, we can do user.destroy is equal to 1. We can display that undo button. But first we can say, hey, the user.name will be removed. And that's just saying, like, upon saving this form, this stuff will happen, as opposed to just doing it outright immediately. So we can say that on click. V on click. You can also write it like this, I believe. So at click, but I think I'm going to do on, kind of reads a little better. And we can do undo, remove. So this is a method we made. We could pass in index. And we can also give it a class, button, and is small. And just have it say undo. So that's our if. We need an else next. So inside this block, I want to do div and then v else. And inside this, all this code we have below will actually go inside. Basically these fields go in there. And we can reformat this a little better. Great, and going down the line, we have basic HTML. The one thing we want to change here is have a reference to our models that we created. So we can do vModel equals user.name. This kind of binds that stuff to this field. So anything that gets passed through here will go route through that save functionality and kind of just come back the way we want it. So we'll do vModel. And for email, we'll do similar. So user.email. And you see we're looping through this stuff. So anything in that user attributes data set, we can loop through and grab. So in this case, I know there's a name, I know there's an email, similar to Rails if we were to do this something similar. So under the email one, I did create that errors array. So we can just add this errors. I don't really need the ID, but I'm going to add it. And class equals has text danger, which is just basically says, hey, this text is red. And we'll do v.if or v-if errors.length. So if there's any errors, just display this, because it really would only be with the email in this case. You could put this anywhere, but I'm going to put it here. It needs to be within this loop though. That's one thing for sure. Okay, then we have our hidden field. It kind of just saves our ID to the data set when it comes through. And let's see, on this button, I want to actually be able to remove that user. So we can do a V on click again. And we could pass in the remove user and pass in that index. And if you're wondering where these are coming from, it's the stuff I just wrote. So all these methods. So here's that remove user. This is the stuff that happens. We're passing in the index. So basically the given model or user that comes through there, that's what we're accessing. Great. So then we have the closing of that. Might have one too many divs here. Yeah, we're good. I just got confused there for a second. So we just add our horizontal rule just to divide things up. And then below that, I have another closing div for our D4 or div4 V4 loop there. And I have our field that basically is going to add the user in the very end. So class button is link, but then we want V dot onClick equals add user. And we don't need to pass anything in there since it's brand new. This is just appending the form on the very front. So each time it adds a new name and new email field. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then finally on these last buttons, I'm checking the current page. Normally Rails in a typical form would know what page you're on and find out if it's a create or edit or save, I should say. In this case, I'm doing it programmatically through Rails just by defining if it's a new team path. If it is, I want it to say create. Otherwise, I want it to say save. So if I'm editing it, then I want it to say save. So that's kind of what's going on there. So V on button, click equals save team. And we'll do the same for this button. I really don't have to repeat this button, but I could just, because literally the only thing changing is this word on each. It just happened to be that way. So if all goes right, this should be okay, I hope. So we're getting stuff. Doesn't look like it's quite working though. So it looks like I've got an unexpected token in JSON. I may have mistyped something. So let me double check everything. All right guys, so I think I've missed a bit on our actual new .html file. I need to actually still add some Vue stuff. So before it actually displays with no errors, we can get everything rolling here, I think. So I'll just do that real quick and we'll see if it works. So on this div column, I want to add some classes to it based on its positioning. So to do that, we can actually model it this way. So if you have the colon and then add class to it, these classes now, you can conditionally do things. So if I want to add this form static class, if the scroll position is greater or less than 100, and then I want to add form fixed if it's not. And a lot of this logic, I mean, you could do it all inline like this. Most people would say, hey, go put it in the actual app methods and stuff. For this tutorial, I'm just doing it here because it seemed to be a little easier and it's very basic of what's going on. Just adding a class based off a condition. And the scroll position in our JavaScript, this is just basically looking for the scroll, and if it updates at all past a certain point, I just want it to kind of do its thing. So you'll see. I'm gonna see if that fixes it. Nope. Okay, let's keep going. Let's go back to new, and in this case I missed a bit there. Great. So this table we need to work out still, and we can do team.name here. And finally, we have the name and email. Those can be static, but this part I want to actually loop through. So we can do tr class user v4 user comma index. I need an equal sign. And team dot users attributes again. And then we can just loop through each TD with the username and the ID, or the email, I should say. Email. Cool. So I still think there's going to be an error here. I'm not sure exactly what's up with it, but I will figure it out. Yeah, token U and U position at 0. I wish it would tell you. It looks like right there it's doing it. So I think I have something messed up. Let me try. Oh, that worked. Okay. No, it didn't. Did it? It did. Sweet. Okay, so I think what I did wrong is call it user on the div. Yep, it should be users. So then if I go back here and to our JavaScript and undo that, I think we should be in the clear, or not. View warn property scope not defined in the instant, but referenced during the render. So something's up with that too. Date scroll. Let's see if I have the new template. Scroll position is less than 100. I need to decrease the size real quick. Form fixed. Can't type. Let's see if we have errors. Okay, we don't, but we do need to fix up our styles here. So let me see what's going on with that. It's funny because I imported the styles. This is most of my day right here. Inspect element, I swear. So we have our form. This is form static. Why is it way over there? Oh, it's because I have the wrong classes on that. So right here I should have different. This should be data. And then this should be data. I've been staring at this too long. And what happens here? Okay, cool. So we're getting there. This is still way too wide. I'm curious why. Because I have to put is S. It should be is 5. Boom. Okay, cool. So this still shouldn't be showing, which is kind of the funny thing. It's not rendering the correct way, but I think that's partially due to the new template here. Let me double check what's going on. So this will be on the form team name. Let me double check the team form. Username will be removed, undo, invite. We've got this here. That's why. So this needs to have a class or vModel of team.name. Let's see if that changes anything. So at least that binds that to that. It's not going to change much in the view besides that. So that's good. Why is curious why the table is showing it shouldn't. Oh, okay. I forgot one thing, guys. It's vif right here on the table. So basically just checking if the team has any length in the user attributes. So we can say team.user attributes.length. So that'll only display once there is any length to that form field. So it should hide by default now. And if it displays, typo. Team.user user. Same with this one. There we go. And I'll do team, add this. Oh, it works. Cool. Leverance. Andy@webcrunch.com. Add user. You can add one more. I'm already a user, so I'm going to just do Andy@example.com. Make sure this works. And John Smith, jsmitty at gmail.com. And we could do this, remove thing. It makes sure that form is gone. I have to type that all again, sadly, but it's all right. jsmitty at gmail.com. So when I create, it should do this post request, and I'm praying it works. Boom. Okay, cool. It goes to the team, which I want it to redirect back to here. But so far it's doing okay. Yep, and I have an error right there. So let me fix that real quick. Let me go to index. My brain is stopping. So index and dashboard, go down to team. Should be users. Boom. Haha. And I just created this team, and we can check, and each person should get an email at that point. So I have Andy@example and jsmitty. So if they logged in, I'll do it as jsmitty. I belong to that team, so it's associated, right? That's pretty awesome. If I edit that team, it looks like we have some errors, so I'm not sure what's up with that. I think it's the matter of the view, so it's not quite hooked up correctly. So let's fix the edit view real quick, and I think we'll be in good shape. In edit, I'm kind of doing the anti-Rails pattern and repeating myself, but it's okay. So basically, I want the same div from the new and same section pretty much. So it's a lot of the same code, and I needed to separate it all out just so the view would work well and work with me, which isn't always important, but it just was looking ugly otherwise, so I wanted it to look cool. So we have our columns, and then is centered, and a column, and this is 4. And we have class, what am I doing? h1.title.is2, and this will be editing team. And we could just get rid of this. Inside that column will be our form. Awesome. And below that, I created a utility buttons div just to give this a cooler place to sit. And in that, we'll have a link to cancel, basically cancel the edit. And it'll just redirect back to the team show page, which we have yet to build, but it's a work in progress. So is gray. And that ends that view. So the problem is we weren't having that ID of the div to fall back on. So I think if I go back to this view, I forgot the end. Pooh, look at that. So the data is coming back too, and we can even add another user if we want, or remove one, and everything's looking awesome. Very cool. So I'm just going to leave that as is for now, but we have work to do on our show page of our team, and also we have to integrate projects and our activity timeline. So I think I'll work on the show page of the team next, and then get kicking on the projects, and then wrap up with the activity. So I'll see you in the next one.